Hi guys, let's talk about something different. I watched the video today. There was a press conference like a couple of days ago. It's the head of the Nobel Peace Prize committee was meeting the press and then answered the question that one guy was asking, "What do you think about basically? What do you think about Trump not getting a peace prize?" Interestingly, from a procedural perspective, he could easily say that, well, the nomination end January 31st or January 1st, or whatever the time. And Trump obviously too late, for his peaceful achievement, right? In the Middle East, for example. Um, but instead of saying that, he's mentioned something different. He's saying that, we received thousands of letters and nominations and a lot of promotions. And then also mentioned that the committee, all sitting in the room, they filled with all the portrait of the Nobel, prize winners, and then with the dignity. So, I mean, he never mentioned the Trump's name, but anybody can tell that he is talking about, kind of like um, Trump is not live up to the standard. And I guess the key thing key point is that he believes that democracy is a prerequisite for peace. And then that's why that can explain why, this time the committee awarded somebody from Latin American. I have nothing against that prize winners, but I'm just saying the idea of democracy is a prerequisite of the peace is really outdated. The Nobel Prize committee should go with the time and then understand the nuances, the complexity of today's geopolitical system. And instead of putting democracy, believing democracy can do everything. So let's look at the fact to see whether democracy truly leads to peace, right? Obviously, we have two sides. Some, on one hand, we have neighbors, U.S. and Canada, peacefully staying together, and there's no war. And basically, England and France, and Germany, basically after World War II, there's no war, so that's extended the period of peace, which is good, which seems to be supporting his major thesis. But on the other hand, I think that democracy, the idea, if you, don't, um, romanticize the democracy at any cost, basically at the end of the day, democracy means accountability, at least the domestic accountability. The people, you have to be accountable to the citizens if they are convinced that the war is worthy fighting, you can do it, right? So, but however, we do have some other opposite examples. It seems like when it comes to international conflict, there's no shortage of examples where the democracy, true democracy, you know, launched the war against the non-democracy. So it's a matter of a target, right, rather than absence of war, right? So you may say that the democracy may bring peace of justice. When it comes to stability, when it comes to dignity of all, democracy may help. But there's by no means that democracy can eliminate all the conflict. Sometimes democracy, like a U.S., can even initiate the war, right? So that's why the situation is more complicated. I think our thinking should be more complicated than that, right? And if you look at the Alfred Nobel himself, his intention was that, whoever individuals or entities or organizations confer the greatest benefit to mankind by, getting rid of war, by promoting the fraternity of nations, by disarmament, right? So you can see that, if by that case, we really should, don't put the democracy and don't put the moral standard. I think the committee head of it was saying that, self promotion. I think they really like the specific candidate who selflessly, out of a internal moral standard, to promote peace, right? So instead of in case of Trump, it's more like they treat that as like a personal branding. So that's why it doesn't fit this criteria for the committee. But I have to say that the committee need to update it. The world is so complicated, especially for the national leaders, especially for American national leaders. Their decisions oftentimes can be conflicting, can be contradictory. Trump himself talking about peace, in the Middle East and in Russia and the Ukraine. But he, on the other hand, he might have some kind of a provocative, rhetoric to, and even claim that the U.S. has an internal civil war or something like that. So this kind of thing, how do you do that? I think that the only way to do that is to be analytical. You have to, you know, realize the reality that national leaders may have to put up different faces. One face is peaceful, another face maybe we're talking about a war or initiate a conflict, right? So the reasoning should be that we use the Nobel Peace Prize to honor the achievement, peaceful achievement, even if it's just the incremental, but it's a milestone achievement. Towards the peace, we should honor that. And so that way, we're not, looking for moral leadership, okay? And we look at the achievement, just look at it in this time. This time, let's look at the Gaza. The people are coming out like celebrating like crazy. So that's actually an endorsement for the achievement. We should never object that. So that's my thought on this.